Are you new to project management? Even if you aren't, here are 6 project management techniques every project manager or PM should know. Now, project management is wonderfully vast. Every industry and sector needs project managers, and their work is vital to making all things work. But of course, projects can vary, and so do the techniques competent project managers need to employ for success. Now, to help you out, I've outlined 6 of the most proven techniques that you should be using. First, let's discuss why you need multiple techniques. I'm Cecilio Mills, and I'm here to tell you project management isn't just about making projects happen, but making them happen smoothly and efficiently. Obviously, there are moving parts to any project. The PM has to help every stakeholder see how they all work together and help the team members visualize how the timeline must flow and be the organizational brain behind it all. It requires skill and know-how, and it also necessitates having multiple methods in your back pocket that work best with varying project types and varying project deadlines. The best project managers have a full complement of tools and techniques they can use regardless of the industry they know best, and they bring these into play as the project determines the need. Keep in mind, these techniques don't eliminate the need for project management software. Actually, they work alongside and in many cases enhance the use of software available. Now, the following techniques will help you oversee and direct the projects under your watch towards success and help you manage your team efficiently and effectively. We'll discuss them in sets of 2. If you're interested in strengthening your project management techniques after learning about these, visit ceciliomills.com to get the latest project management training by myself, a skilled teacher, project management coach, and organizational consultant. Okay, let's discuss the first 2 techniques, beginning with the most well-known, work breakdown structure, or WBS. Next, we'll follow it up with Gantt Charts, another technique typically used in conjunction with WBS. At first glance, any project can be overwhelming. There is much to do, and each deliverable or task within the project must flow in order to keep things moving smoothly. Guesswork at the beginning of any project will spell disaster down the line, so it is imperative to plan out the work before anything begins. Work breakdown structure does exactly what it says it does. It takes the work and breaks it down into a series of smaller individual tasks. Now, this doesn't just help you as the project manager to better organize things, but it is helpful to your entire team. Instead of concerning themselves with the entire project and getting overwhelmed, they can focus on the portions that are relevant to them and their skill set. The project management body of knowledge, known as the PMBOK, says WBS is a hierarchical decomposition of the work to be executed by the team. It's basically a graph that displays the big picture or complete project at the top of the page, extending to a box or boxes that show the high-level deliverables. Each deliverable then has lines connecting the smaller ones, and smaller ones to activities, and activities to tasks that will complete it. The decomposition continues until every job is listed. Now, you can easily accomplish this technique by taking your project and determining the main elements needed to make it happen. For example, say my project is a party, and the deliverables are food, drink, entertainment, location, and people. I can take the deliverable drinks and break it down into non-alcohol and alcohol. Alcohol can break down to wine, beer, and spirits. Wine can break down to sparkling, reds, and whites. And then reds can be broken down into Pinot, Cab, Merlot, and well, you get the point. Now, as I continue, I'll get to a point where I can no longer use nouns and I have to use verbs, like order cases, rent wine glasses, etc. And once I'm there, I know I've broken it down to an appropriate level and I can come back up to only nouns. Now, in a smaller project, you can probably do this by hand, but for larger projects, project management software can assist you. Now, whether you use sticky notes on a wall or a hierarchical structure, creating a visual representation of the work to be done is critical. Connected with work breakdown structure are Gantt charts, the second of these 2 techniques. Gantt charts are a tried and true method. They have been around for a while and work well with experienced PMs and beginners alike. Gantt charts are a visual representation of the identified tasks needed to finish the entire project, along with the timelines of each represented by horizontal bars. Now, you can see all the dependencies, the time links, and how they interact and affect each other. Start dates and deadlines are also apparent. These charts can work well alone, They can also be a visual organizational tool used alongside other techniques. Gantt charts help simplify complex projects, and the bar chart format allows you to check on progress with a quick glance, and they're helpful in managing the dependencies between tasks. Now that we've discussed WBS and Gantt charts, let's look at the next two techniques, Scrum methodology and Kanban flow. Scrum is a technique that originated from the software development world. It takes the project and breaks the work down into a backlog, or list of work known as epics and user stories. The work is produced in short cycles that are time-boxed, called sprints. The team, in this case, is facilitated by a Scrum Master and meets daily to discuss progress and determine how they remove any roadblocks in their way. These short, maximum 15-minute meetings are known as the daily stand-up. The frequency of the team discussion usually means adjustments and revisions happen quickly. Typically, this leads to a quicker finish time and a more optimal result. It requires the project manager to become a Scrum Master and play a servant leader role, facilitating and coaching a self-organizing team towards full accountability to each other. The Scrum Master is also responsible for roadblock removal, so the team can focus on the work. In Scrum, sprints typically last 2 weeks, but can be any length as long as it's time-boxed. Now, after the sprint, the team will demo or demonstrate to the customers, key stakeholders, and/or product owners what was created during the sprint. After the demo, the team huddles together and discusses how working together went and how it could have gone better, which is known as a retrospective. The retrospective prepares the team for the next sprint planning session, leading to the next sprint or iteration, which takes on another set of deliverables from the backlog of the overall project. There's slightly more detail, such as backlog grooming and big room planning. However, most Scrum implementations consist of what we just discussed. Now let's look at the connecting agile technique known as Kanban or Kanban. Kanban or Kanban is a Japanese word for billboard. It was developed by an industrial engineer at Toyota. First used for scheduling to improve manufacturing processes, Kanban uses tickets or cards on a wall or a digital board to show the workflow. It's instrumental in helping the team work well together because the emphasis is on the overall flow of the work and not on any specific task or group. In its most basic form, Kanban takes each task and assigns them to one of three columns: to do, doing or in progress, done or complete. You and your team move cards or tasks across the columns as they are worked on. Now, this method makes it easy for the team to see their task in the entire project context. It shows them what they must accomplish each day towards the broader goal. Now, if needed, additional columns are added based on workflow, such as in review or testing. Often, a priority or rush row near the bottom of the doing column is added for any emergencies or fires of the day that need to be put out. Prioritizing the cards results in greater efficiency. Another great feature of Kanban is the work in progress or WIP limits placed on the doing or in progress column, because it restricts the number of tasks that take place to keep the team focused, and it helps them to avoid multitasking or working on too many tasks at once. WIP limits tend to optimize work capacity and aids in the efficient performance of the team while helping to avoid bottlenecks and overloading. WIP limits, tracking, forecasting, reporting functionality, and other features make Kanban a continuous improvement tool. And as a company moves towards excellence, this technique encourages each project to be carried out better than the last. Okay, so we discussed WBS and Gantt charts. We moved on to Scrum and Kanban or Kanban. The last two techniques are prevalent in construction and IT projects. Yeah, go figure. The IT guy and the foreman have something in common. The first of these two, Waterfall, is the oldest technique out there. But let's first discuss the critical path method. Since the 1940s in the Manhattan Project, critical path method has become the mainstay of project management. Critical path helps the project manager create a project schedule that shows the entire timeline. Critical path includes all of the project's tasks, the task durations, and where the dependencies lie. And then it creates what is known as a network schedule diagram. It can also show milestones and key deliverables within the schedule. Critical path uses this data to reveal the longest path of work in the schedule. Then it finds the shortest and longest possible periods to complete that path. It evaluates possible start times and identifies the earliest and latest start and finish times for each. Now, these early and late start times are used to calculate the float or buffer time in the project, and it helps to separate the most critical tasks from the non-consequential ones. Now, all of this data will tell you the shortest possible time for completing the project, and it helps with prioritization and decision making. Critical path piggybacks right into waterfall methodology, the last of our six techniques. Now, as I mentioned earlier, waterfall is one of the oldest techniques in use today. Waterfall takes the requirements of customers, key stakeholders, and the project itself, and it creates a plan to fulfill these requirements. It's a linear system of activities that flow through sequential phases. Simply put, one phase flows right into the next. This method works best for known projects or work that's already been done before, with few iterations or changes. The Project Management Institute, known as PMI, has one of the best known waterfall methodologies, and it can be found in the PMBOK I mentioned earlier. An example of waterfall from the PMBOK is seen as work completed in 5 process groups: initiation, planning, execution, monitoring, controlling, and closing. So here's my final thoughts on these 6 techniques. Project management can be exciting work, especially if you feel competent and stay on top of things. There are several hundred tools and techniques available to help your project run smoothly. The 6 that I mentioned, WBS, Gantt Charts, Scrum, Kanban, Critical Path, and Waterfall, are just a few of those that can help you do your job better and feel good about your work. Eventually, you will modify these techniques, and soon enough, you'll even blend them with other techniques you pick up along the way, creating hybrid approaches. Regardless, always have these 6 in your toolbox. And if you want more, subscribe so you don't miss the new approaches we discuss as you evolve in your project management career. If you need training or you want to go to the next level, visit CecilioMills.com in addition to subscribing to level up on all things project management. Cecilio Mills here, signing off. Create solutions, adapt mindsets, think fluidly.